Hey everyone, it's me again. Today we're going to talk about the area of a circle. Yesterday you found the circumference of a circle. The circumference is just like the perimeter, it's the distance around the outside of the circle. Well, today we're going to talk about the area. So the area is all of this space inside the circle. And we're going to talk about how to find that area. So when I think about area, just some real world applications. So something that you could think of might be pizza. If you think about the top of the pizza and how much cheese you're going to need to cover your pizza, that would be the area. So the cheese to cover the top of the pizza. Something else that you might think of, real world application would be, so if you have a tree, which is the center point of your circle, and let's say your dog is outside and you can't be outside with your dog, and so you have the dog chained to the tree, the dog can move around the tree however long its leash is. So let's say the leash is 10 feet. Well, that your dog can move 10 feet in this direction, 10 feet in this direction, 10 feet in this direction, and 10 feet in this direction. So it has all of this area to run around. So and so how do we find the area of a circle? So we use this formula. Area is equal to pi times the radius squared. And so from some of the other videos, we're going to estimate pi. We're going to use this estimation of 3.14. Pi has an infinite number of digits to the right of the decimal point. We're just going to round it to this number to make it a little bit easier. So we're going to take 3.14 and multiply it by the radius squared. Do you remember what it means to square a number? I'll give you an example. If you have 5 squared, that means 5 multiplied by itself 2 times. 5 squared is 25. So the radius squared is going to be the radius multiplied by itself 2 times. So pi times the radius again. And so let's look at an example. Let's say that our radius is 4.5 inches. So we are given the radius, and the radius is part of that formula. So I'm going to write out the formula again, because the more we write out each formula, the more we're going to remember it, and it's going to stick in our mind. So the area is pi times the radius squared. Well, I know that pi is 3.14, and the radius is 4.5. So how could we change 4.5 so we can use the calculator to help us? Well, we can turn that into a decimal. 4.5 is equivalent to 4.5, and then we're going to square this. So on my calculator, I'm going to do 3.14 times 4.5 times 4.5. I'm going to take that radius and multiply by itself 2 times. So I'm going to do this part first. So I'm going to square the radius first. And so 4.5 times 4.5 is 20 and 25 hundredths. If I take that and multiply it by 3.14, you don't need to clear your calculator, I get 63.585. And a lot of times what we are going to do is round the area to the nearest hundredth. And so then the hundredths place value is right here. There's an 8 in the hundredths place value. If we look to the right, that digit is a 5. Remember, if it's 5 or more, we're going to round this number up. We're going to round the 8 in the hundredths place value up to a 9. So the area is approximately 63 and 59 hundredths. We have to use our label because we don't know if we're measuring in meters or feet or centimeters. In this case, it's inches. And area is two-dimensional. I'm taking inches and multiplying it by itself. So we're going to square our units. So 63.59 square inches. So that means that if we were to divide this circle up into squares that are each 1 inch by 1 inch, there's going to be about 63.59 of these little squares within this circle. We're going to do one more example together. And this is going to be a little bit different because now instead of giving you the radius, I am going to give you the diameter. Remember, the diameter goes all the way through the circle and it has to pass through that center point. So what if I told you that the diameter is 24 meters? Well, the formula for area is pi times the radius squared. And as of right now, I'm not sure about the radius. Can I find the radius if I've been given the diameter? Can I find this distance from here to here? Well, I know the radius is half the diameter, so half of 24 is going to be 12 meters. So now I know the radius, and I can plug that into my formula. So the area is pi, which is 3.14, times the radius, which is 12, and we're going to square that. We're going to do our exponents first. We evaluate the exponents before doing multiplication according to the order of operations. So 12 squared means 12 times 12, and that is 144. So now I'm going to use my calculator. 144 times 3.14, and I get 452.16. This is already rounded to the nearest hundredth because the 6 is in the hundredths place value. We do not have a digit in the thousandths place value, so we don't have to round here. However, we do need to add our units, and we're talking about meters. And remember that area is two-dimensional. We're doing meters times meters, so that means meters squared. And so again, if we split up this circle into squares that are 1 meter by 1 meter, we're going to have approximately 452 of those within the inside of this circle. Okay? So remember that formula for the area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. Make sure that you have the radius before you start using your formula. They might trick you by giving you the diameter, but remember we cut the diameter in half in order to find the area of a circle. So good luck with this, guys, and please let me know if you have any questions.